Who does a guy have to blow to be a host on this show? Well, I'll be blown. Tonight, on About Tonight, legendary TV chef Gabriel Gate, cabaret superstar Geraldine Quinn, and comedian Paul Culliver. With your host, whoa, who do we have here? Anthony McCormack. Ahoy! How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to About Tonight. I'm Anthony McCormack, and this is the most live show on Channel 31. It's even more live than Live on Bowen. Special thanks to Live on Bowen. I can prove how live we are. The current Prime Minister is Tony Abbott.
All right, go for another one.
The current Prime Minister is Malcolm Turnbull.
Another one.
The current Prime Minister is... And here's a copy of today's newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, on guitar, Mr. Frank McKenna. Oh, I'm excited, Frank. Are you excited?
I'm excited. Yeah,
We've got a show all to ourselves.
Yeah.
Basically, whatever we want to do, we can do it.
Mm.
We've got the cards here. We can just there's a phone. It's plugged in and everything. Cool. Fantastic. As well, there's one thing. There's no coffee here, and I'm not sure if there's supposed to be. It's probably
or H&S or something like that.
I always thought, I looked at the mugs on these kinds of shows and I thought, coffee, but what you don't realise is it's 9:30 at night. It's probably not the time to...
Probably not.
Although Melbourne is a big coffee town.
Yes, it is.
I don't know, Frank, do you think we should have done something tonight about coffee?
Maybe.
What do we got here? We got no. Ha-ha! We have Paul Culliver. He's doing something. Let's get him doing coffee.
Yeah.
All right. Are you there, Paul?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Anthony.
Now, Paul, I understand you were going to talk to us about sleep deprivation tonight.
Yes, I was. Am. I haven't slept for 36 hours.
That's so interesting, Paul, but I was wondering if we could put that to one side. We want to talk about coffee tonight.
Coffee? Do you?
We have a list of Melbourne's top 5 coffee cafe, coffee joints, coffee houses. We were going to send you around to them for the rest of the show, if you're happy to do that.
Right now, because I think I might need a bit of a nap because as I said, I've been awake for a while.
Well, Paul, nothing will fix that like a good coffee.
I'm just worried that I don't know if any of the cafes will be open at this time.
Never mind that. If you can get to them, Paul, we will be able to arrange for you a coffee. And if you could just give us a rating out of a 10.
Yep, sure, okay. Look, no, I'm a professional. I'm your roving reporter, so leave it with me.
That's fantastic, Paul. Thank you so much. We'll catch up with you later in the episode. Now, Frank.
Hey.
Frank.
Yeah, swap seats.
Fantastic. You are on top of it all. Later on the show, we've got Gabriel Gate. Are you excited about that?
I am, yeah.
We have Geraldine Quinn. Are you excited about that?
Definitely.
Geraldine is doing now. There's a fundraiser. It's asylum seekers. The Asylum Seeker Resource Centre.
Yeah.
I'm worried, Frank. I'm worried that I'm going to open up political.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And we've had so much politics, going on in the media, in the newspapers, in the TV, and the radio. I think people are sick of politics, and I'm afraid that I'm going to start opening up.
Yeah.
That's just my finger on the pulse. I think people are sick of opinion polls.
They might be, yeah.
Well, they are.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you how I know. I went to the street to check it out. We're wondering about politicians and the media. Do they care too much about opinion polls?
Quite possibly, but they got no idea anyway, so...
Excuse me, sorry, sir. Could I grab you for a second? Politicians and the media and newspapers, do you think they care too much about opinion polls?
No.
Yes.
Well, actually, I think they do, actually.
Yes. Yes, they do.
They don't necessarily reflect the entire population's opinions.
Broadcast what they think their audience wants to hear and not what the truth is.
It's not a good way to run your country.
Do you reckon we're getting bad politics at the moment because they care too much about what we think? What do you think?
I just don't like Australian politics.
Maybe you should do an opinion poll on opinion polls.
Well, maybe we should.
I think they sometimes need to focus more on the problem, not on the minor opinions of society.
So there you go. That's what, Johnny on the street thinks of the whole situation. I want to know what you think, Frank.
Oh, people don't care what I think.
I care what you think.
Oh, okay.
Everyone cares what you think. Don't be like that.
How do you know that?
No, I know that.
How?
I hit the streets to ask you what you thought. Would you like to hear Frank's thoughts on the issue?
Sure.
Do you want to know what he thinks about the whole media politics?
Yeah.
Let me hear what Frank thinks. That's it.
You want to hear what Frank thinks?
Yeah, so I don't know about him.
You don't know about him? Do you trust him?
Yes, I do.
So you're up for what Frank thinks?
Yeah.
Give that to us, Frank.
Get Frankie!
So there you go, Frank. The people have spoken.
Well, you can't prove anything to me with Vox Pops,
But what are you talking? Vox Pops they're a science.
Nah.
People love Vox Pops.
People don't like Vox Pops.
How can you possibly know that?
Well, I went out to check.
So what do you think about Vox Pops? Like what I'm doing now?
I don't know, they're good, I guess.
You sure?
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you hate Vox Pops?
No.
What do you think about the right for someone not to have an opinion on something? If there's an issue and you don't have an opinion on it, do you think that's an okay thing?
No, it's pretty unfair because you can't express your thoughts.
Are you sick of Vox Pops?
No, not at all. I love Vox Pops.
Okay, they like Vox Pops.
You know what I love so much about that is that it's right here in the script. Frank proves Anthony wrong with Vox Pop. And you've asked all these people and they've let you down, Frank.
They did, yeah.
Every single... You phrase the question different ways each time. They love Vox Pops so much.
I didn't really get that because they didn't seem to like it when I was actually asking them the question. But then they said that they liked it. So.
And what's beautiful about it is that you are such an honest soul. You're not manipulating. You're not saying, "Can you please just tell me the answer that I want?" God bless you, Frank. God bless you. Is Paul Culliver at a cafe already? Are you there, Paul?
Yeah, I'm here.
Paul, you are looking fantastic.
Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
So whereabouts are you at the moment? Is that Lygon Street behind you?
Coffee, doing the. Okay, so we are at Cafe Matrize. Matrize.
Cafe Matrize, is it?
We're at Cafe Matrize.
All right. Tell us about Cafe Matrize.
So straight from the press release. Cafe Matrize in the heart of the city, the last human city, deep down where it's still warm. There's no telling who struck first. Us or them.
Keep reading that press release, Paul. It sounds very interesting.
But we do know it was us that scorched the coffee beans. Their resident chef doesn't know what chicken tastes like, which is why chicken tastes like everything.
This place sounds so familiar to me. It's like deja vu.
Cafe Matrize offers free Wi-Fi, but bring your own spoons.
Well, that sounds fantastic, Paul. Now, how does their coffee taste?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's try it. Wish I didn't know what that tasted like. Ignorance is bliss, right?
Thank you so much, Paul. We'll let you get on your way because you have a lot of cafes to go through, my good man.
Do I?
Thank you, Paul. I just got that. Ignorance is bliss. That's hilarious. That's very clever. He was very smart to do that. Hashtags follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on everything. If you are seeing Paul Culliver out on the town tonight, don't be afraid to get involved. Hashtag about tonight. Let us know where you're seeing Paul and if he's all right. He's fine. He should be fine. Right back after this. Welcome back to About Tonight. Now, Frank McKenna. Now, were you saying earlier in the show, this is your first time, you've been behind the scenes on a lot of shows on Channel 31 and RMI TV?
Yeah. And Sin as well.
And Sin as well. Yeah. Matt, this is your first time in front of a camera on purpose?
Yeah.
Well, how do you find the experience? Is it terrifying?
Oh, it's a bit daunting, yeah.
But I mean, it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? We can do whatever we want.
That's
on
good.
This, which is good. And I keep forgetting that you're very young. So I mean, something like back in 1995, for example, were you born?
Yeah.
Okay, but only just.
So I probably would have been what's that, like 3?
3. Okay. Well, we're going to test you out, right, on your so-called claims, because we're going to play a little game at the moment called Back to 1995.
Oh, so it's like Back to the Future, but 10 years in the...
Yeah. Oh, you're with me. You're with me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You've got what I'm laying down. Now, what I want to do, Frank. Firstly, did you know? This is just a little tidbit. On Channel 31, it is illegal to play ads.
Yeah, only sponsors.
Only sponsors. And do you know what the difference is between an ad and a sponsor?
Sponsor has a thing up the top that says sponsor.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. No, that is good. That's good. But as well, it's something about you can't influence the content of the show.
Oh, okay.
So if you were to play ads on Channel 31 under any circumstances, that's illegal. Straight to jail.
But are you going to do that now?
Do you know what we're doing in this segment? We're going to play some ads, Frank.
Well done.
But they're going to be from 20 years ago. So hopefully, we won't get Malcolm Turnbull on the phone. Or maybe we will get Malcolm Turnbull on the phone.
That'd be good, actually.
We'll have a good old-fashioned discussion to him. He's not returning our calls so far. Good. Malcolm, we're standing by. All right, now, I'm going to show you some ads. These are from 20 years ago, different values. And it's up to you, it's down to you to say what you think these ads are going to be representing, what they're selling, what the product is. Ad number 1. All right, freeze it there. Looks pretty saucy to me, Frank. It was a different time back in 1995.
Definitely.
What is this ad selling? Is it A, public health initiative, B, a new kind of credit card, or C, harmless chocolate milk?
I'm going to go with A.
A, so you're saying a public health initiative.
What a weird ad.
I know.
I thought it was about drugs or...
Yeah. I watched that ad as a kid.
Am I allowed to say drugs? Or?
I never got the joke. I guess it is a joke. Alrighty. No. Here's a good one. All right. Ad number 2.
Looks like we can only afford to live till we're 70 or so.
What? Even with the kids off our hands?
My question to you, Frank. Is this ad selling A, public health initiative, B, a superannuation company that doesn't exist anymore, or C, Joe Hockey's latest budget?
Oh, I like C. That's fine.
You like C? I like C too.
Superannuation company that doesn't exist anymore.
Let's have a look. Hey, yeah, hey, you got one right there.
Cool.
That's for a superannuation company. It doesn't exist anymore. So I assume those people are handled.
Even worse off.
Even worse off. Terrible news. All right. 1995, Frank. Just to put it in perspective for you, this is the year of Pocahontas. That's it. Disney's Pocahontas is in the cinemas. Batman Forever. So it's a Val Kilmer Batman. Hold me, thrill me, kiss me, kill me.
I love that song by U2. Yeah.
Yes, the song. Yes, that as well. Not that one. Not that one. All right, here we go. This is a good one.
I'd rather some passion, even if it's a screaming fight. Anything but indifference. You know, when it's not love, and it's not hate, and it's not sex. It's not anything, really.
Now, if you didn't recognise it already, that is a Calvin Klein ad. That's Kate Moss. So if you've never known what it is that Kate Moss does, that was it. That's it. Now we know it's Calvin Klein, but this is my question for you. How do you feel about that ad? A, I love it. B, I hate it. C, I'm indifferent.
I had no idea what was going on, so.
Let me sell you the indifference route.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a look. Fantastic. Hello, Jen. Have we got Malcolm on the phone yet? Thank you. No, not yet. Not yet. We'll get it. Alrighty. Next ad.
Your daddy's overseas on business. Do you know where he is?
No.
Do you know what he's doing?
No.
How long he'll be away?
No.
Who he's meeting?
I have no idea.
Oh, no, there's no question there. It's just a very sad state of affairs.
Ah.
And it's 20 years later now, and I want to make sure that that girl's father is okay. So if you know anything... This is a monster, this one. You're going to love this one, Frank. Let's see this ad.
We live in exciting times, to say the least. While nothing seems certain, anything seems possible.
How are you so far? Are you getting any clues?
I'm guessing it's something to do with technology.
Technology?
There seemed to be some kind of Windows screen there of some kind.
Yeah, might be on the right track.
Microsoft or something.
Yeah. Well, we'll show you a little bit more. We'll make it easier on you.
There are those who will embrace tomorrow with all its uncertainties. And there are those who won't. There are some who'll give it their best. And there are those who'll hope for the best.
Now, I know you were young in 1995, Frank, but if you can't get it from that, have you anything?
No. The music kind of sounded like Enya.
Yeah. A little bit more. Have a little bit more.
There are those who value their time, even if they're just passing it.
Is it some kind of watch ad?
A watch? Oh, well, now that's interesting that you'd say that. Here, I'll give you some options. This ad is selling A, some new cutting-edge technology, that's what you said before. B, a matchmaking service. Or C, bug it if I know.
Bug it if I know?
The answer is actually none of those. Here's a look at what it's actually selling.
There are those who fly ansett.
Right. So it's kind of advertising a company that doesn't exist anymore?
Clear as mud, isn't it? Oh, why did they go out of business again?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway, we've sent down, if you're just tuning in, we've sent down Paul Culliver He's jumping around the hottest cafe spots in Melbourne. It is in the middle of the night, but that's all right. He's a stalwart young man. He's testing out the top 5 coffee joints. Are you there, Paul?
Yes. Hello, Anthony. Yes, I'm here at Cafe Fay Caf, where we don't serve coffee, we serve fee-coff. And all our biscotti is coddy bis. Enjoy a Ted Toes cheese which sand with your mingsty hot cup of Oge.
Paul, have you had a stroke?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, well, you're out there, you're on Chapel Street. Can we get your opinion on a Cafe Fay Caf coffee?
Yes, I've got a coffee here. It's, what's a mocha? So I'm just going to try that now. Here we go. We're going to do it. We're going to have a taste test. Yeah, that's a good mocha. Yeah.
It's a good mocha. What would you rate that out of 10, Paul?
Oh, I'd give that a solid 7.5. Yeah.
7.5, that's pretty good. But I'm a bit worried it's just mocha. If we could get you drinking some heavier stuff for the rest of the night at the next couple of cafes, please.
No, well, I hear what you're saying. I'm just a bit worried because coming off the back of the insomnia test, are you sure there's no ill health effects about drinking this much coffee?
Paul, you're not doing insomnia now, you're doing coffee, okay? We talked about this. We changed the segment. Coffee.
Oh, no, I get that. I just haven't slept for a very long time, okay?
All right, thank you very much, Paul. Now, I tell you what, Frank, after the break, Mr. Gabriel Gate is here.
I know, how exciting.
Very exciting. Don't go anywhere. I could not be more excited to have our next guest on the show. Now, I've grown up with him. Before I even knew what food was, I watched this man on TV preparing it. Nowadays you've got the MasterChefs, you've got the reality kitchen coming out the wazoo. But for me, the original TV chef, and for a lot of people out there, Mr. Gabriel Gate.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Oh, bonsoir. Should I say?
Bonsoir. Oh, of course. I'm not as good as French as I should be, but is bonjour good day and bonsoir?
Bonsoir is good evening.
I see.
And what I have understood from your introduction is that you first saw me on television when your mom was breastfeeding me, because you said that you knew about me before you knew about food.
Well, that's absolutely right. I see, when I was young, I wasn't very good at food.
No?
No.
Why not?
Well, I ate a lot of junk and I didn't understand flavour. I don't know if it was a psychological...
Because at that age, you probably could not make the difference between crepe and crap. So you understood crap, but not crepe. Crepe is a lot finer, more delicious.
Is crepe the actual dish crepe? Because I love crepes. Is that?
But you probably love crap before you love crepe.
Yeah, well, I love the Suzette one.
I know that you have a very educated audience, that if I spoke French to you for 5 minutes, people would probably all understand me.
You would probably be able to insult me for 5 minutes and everyone would understand what you're saying. I wouldn't. I'd smile and nod.
Not everybody would understand if I say bonsoir, Dom Pérignon, Veuve Clicquot, Laurent Perrier, crêpe, champignon, pâté.
Oh.
Everyone has understood? Yes, you see, very clever bunch of people watching the show.
I might be able to add something here. Bœuf? Is it bœuf?
Bœuf.
Bœuf?
You said déjà vu before.
Oh!
The show.
I'm getting déjà vu now.
Je ne sais pas quoi.
No, what was that one?
Which one?
Je ne sais...
je ne sais pas quoi. I don't know what.
You don't know either?
No.
No.
I learn every day.
Now, I want to ask you, because, you know, we addressed me. I didn't know food. What got you into food? What got you into, is it crepe?
Yes.
I forgive my pronunciation. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I think, you know, like I became a chef. People think, oh, you must have loved cooking. And yeah, I thought cooking was fun, but when you start, you don't know. But what I loved was eating. I think a good chef must love food, number one. You can't become a good chef because you like watching MasterChef. You've got to love food in the same way as if you watch lots of football on television, you're not going to become a good footballer.
Do you ever get, you know, watching a show that isn't your show, do you ever get bored because you wish you could participate, you know?
Not really. I think I've had a really nice go at cooking on television. I did my first cooking on television in 1978, so that's a long time ago.
Well, that is pretty much on the money with the first Star Wars movie.
I was in my early 20s, yeah. And when I watch other shows, like the popular ones, like MasterChef and My Kitchen Rule, I understand how television works. So you know how slow the process is. You know that not everything is spontaneous. So that's what wrecks it for me. So I really don't really enjoy those shows, although I know that lots of people love them, and I don't mind for other people watching them, but I don't really enjoy watching those shows. I prefer to watch shows when people are, you know, in an exotic country and visit a market and things like that. So the reality show, I don't care that much about.
Yeah, no, well, that's understandable. Now, when we're talking about crap, is there any sort of junk food that, you know, what is your poison? What's
my poison?
Yeah.
It's always a judgment you put on someone else's poison. You know, some people will tell you that a glass of wine is poison, and some people. So my poison, I would say.
Certainly hope a glass of wine is not poison.
My poison, I could say, is cheese, or like when I've got nuts, or I can't resist an ice cream. If I see a nice ice cream shop, I can't resist to have an ice cream. I don't care so much for the junk food of your generation.
I'm so glad that you mentioned cheese, because cheese has me too, Gabriel.
Cheese is so bloody good.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there some I mean, a lot of these junk foods you can substitute, you know what I mean? You can say, I won't have that, I'll have this healthier option. Is there one of those for cheese, or are we stuck on cheese?
If you take away cheese, you can't replace it with anything. Like, you know, like sometimes people are, they are, vegetarian, and they would have, and I think it's a beautiful thing to be vegetarian, but they will have a vegetarian schnitzel, not trying to reproduce, or bacon vegetarian. I think this is stupid to do that. If I was vegetarian, I would rather like, you know, making an Indian dish of vegetables with spices rather than trying to have a vegetarian, a piece of bacon. I think that's. So I don't think you can replace cheese. If cheese needs to go away from your diet, you just forget about it. You accept. Yeah, sorry. Maybe go for nuts. Nuts is another one.
Nuts is...
if there's nuts in front of me, I can't resist. For example, today, it's nice to be here with you.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
That was a good one.
Now...
Hey!
What a nut, am I right? Have you met Frank?
Well, I know his father.
Oh, really?
Pope Francis.
Oh, yes, yeah. He's a good bloke.
I never knew Frank. How long have we known each other, and you never told me?
About 2 years.
You know, in this family, they keep the same name. Lots of family do that in Australia. Yeah.
Now, because I was talking to a friend of yours from Channel 9 days.
Oh, yes.
And he tells me the first question everyone always asks you is, are you certain that you are French? You sure you're not putting it on? You're not actually... And he used this name, I don't know if this is familiar to you, Gary Gate.
Yes.
Yeah?
It became Gary Gate from Footscry. Became a big joke 25 years ago, because people were not used to have someone with an accent. Now remember, there was not many accents on television. And when your accent is reasonably strong like mine, I came here as a young adult. people somehow think you maybe exaggerated. On very few occasions, as a joke, I might exaggerate it. But when I do a dish on television, what you hear is me.
Okay. Have you got an Australian impression? I
am very bad at it.
Okay.
I can't say good day mate or vanilla slice, but I can't have a discussion trying to copy an Australian. It's not. I just can't do that.
No,
I'm not an actor like you. I'm just a cook.
Oh no, I'm not a very good actor. I couldn't do a French accent.
Can you cook?
I've tried. I can do a toasted cheese sandwich.
I tried.
And if you tasted this toasted cheese sandwich, Gabriel, I think...
Really?
Well, you would probably not be that
because
impressed.
I believe, like cooking is a bit like, your parents try to make you independent and they teach you to brush your teeth and to clean under your arm and between your legs and all of that. So you can live your life. But if you can't cook at your age, I think you're a little bit, I would not use the word retarded because it's not politically correct.
Oh,
but
no,
I would say that's really an handicap for the rest of your life. I think you should do something about that.
No, absolutely. And fruit. Now, were you saying that
fruit
dessert, if we get more fruit into dessert these days?
Yes, I love that. This is really, in France, the way we live, we had fruit trees around our places, and so a family dessert was mostly based on fruit. In Australia, it's more pudding. People love their pudding. In the top restaurant even, now it's always something with chocolate or something with lemon or something pudding. In France, it would be more like a fruit tart. And in Australia, when you look at it, the fruits are wonderful. The mangoes, the peaches, the plums. Recently, I've been poaching plums.
Is there anything? I mean, we are a colony, and once upon a time, it was all this stuff that was brought over to us. And are we kind of shirking what grows naturally in Australia? In the same way that you talk about what happens in France and the beautiful fruit that you have there. Like Australian natives, are we getting enough of that?
Well, I think that culturally it has been difficult for the people that came to Australia to feel for the Australian tucker, the bush food, to feel for those nuts and roots, because people were already used to things that are pretty nice too, like cherries and apricots and cheese and things like that. So culturally, it's a big shock. It's a bit like, if you go in a farm in Australia and then you tell those people that are used to have lamb 3 times a day that suddenly they have got to have Chinese seafood every day. So it's not going to work. So it takes a long time to accept, and because we don't cultivate a lot of food from the bush, people have not had enough of it to become familiar, and for it to be little by little people accept a little bit of lemon myrtle or a bit of that, but it's very slow.
Gabriel, I feel like we're just getting started, and I could talk to you about food all night, but I think we're running out of time.
Is it finished already?
We're running out of time already.
That was interesting.
And thank you for your great contribution to the discussion.
He's a good nut to have around.
Yeah.
Gabriel, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
We're going to be right back. No. Earlier in the evening, we sent out Mr. Paul Culliver to go to all the Melbourne cafes. We had a list of the top 5. It's one of these BuzzFeed lists. And he was very sleep deprived. I don't think he's at a cafe at the moment, but I just wanted to check in because he's had quite a bit of coffee up till now. I just wanted to check that he's doing all right. Can we get Paul? He's fine. Our next guest, we are so honoured to have on the show. She is, what can you say about this lady? She's Miss Geraldine Quinn.
Was that my cue? Was that my cue, love? Was that the cue?
That was... Did you like?
I loved it. It was great. Thank you. Do I sit down?
Oh, yeah. And how is that?
How was what?
This seat. We tried to make sure this is the most comfortable seat in the entire here.
Well, I've clearly made sure that I vaguely match it by going for a rusty kind of purpley what have you theme. Either I've matched it or I'm clashing terribly.
I think it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, you've just come back from
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Mm.
So now they have not only a comedy festival but a fringe festival.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and the Fringe Festival kind of happens in a few different cities. You can do a little circuit, but I've only ever done the Wellington one, which I think is the main hub for it, which would make sense because it's the capital. So yeah, it's my second Fringe Festival in New Zealand.
So how would you compare? You know, it's to say a Melbourne Fringe Festival.
It's kind of similar. It's funny because one of the high-up people in Melbourne Fringe is actually from Wellington, but they're very similar and they're quite close. They talk to each other a lot. The staff, the officers know each other and they cross-pollinate quite a lot. So it's sort of on the small side, but it's also really friendly and very supportive of people, which is what a fringe should be, you know. You want people to have in that safe space to do really crazy, mad stuff and then end up on Channel 31 doing crazy, mad stuff.
Oh, wow. And thank you for coming in.
Just throwing that over, throwing it back.
And have some back.
Thanks.
There you go. Now, you do have a lot of awards. Do you have a case?
No, I have a lot of nominations, I think you'll find.
Oh, okay.
I think Meryl's won more.
Well, I mean, it's the nominations that count, really, isn't it?
Oh, look, it's always nice, you know. It just means that somebody's seen it and liked it enough to kind of go, we'll put you on that list. So, yeah, it means a lot. Green Room Awards, I've probably got the most. They're the peer-judged...
That's what you want.
They're the peer-judged performance awards. So they happen in Victoria. So any show that happened in Victoria, so you don't have to be from this state at all, but you register with the Green Room Awards you can do it in opera, dance, theatre, independent theatre and cabaret, which is where I fit in. I think that's all. Yeah, so I've ended up getting a lot of nods for that and a couple of wins. It's very exciting.
So cabaret.
Yeah.
So it's.
Sorry, you just went cabaret.
Cabaret.
Which was very appropriate.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well, how like in the like people who have never seen a cabaret show. Yeah. So I mean, people who love cabaret are coming anyway. But how do you describe? You know, a cabaret, like, is it necessarily comedic?
No.
Is it just funny that it's extravagant?
I'd be interested to hear what you think it is before I give you my theory.
The very first thing that comes to mind is always Liza Minnelli and the Joel Grey.
That's a Bob Fosse film. That's a different thing.
You have to get past that to get into...
Well, that's one representation of probably an early form of whatever cabaret was. Mm-hmm. But now, if somebody said to you, "All right, come on, we're going to go to a cabaret show," what would you think you'd be in for? I
would hope some music. Mm-hmm. Maybe a raunchy gag or two.
You're just talking about my show. Continue.
I would hope some Geraldine Quinn would be there.
Stop it.
No, well, what are there any essential ingredients, or is it a?
I think so. I think the good thing about it is that it is amorphous. It can be a lot of different things. It can be serious. It can be funny. It can be rude. It can be push boundaries or just hold its boundaries close to its chest. That's all part of what it can be. I personally think that, I think music's an important part of the performance, but probably one of the biggest things for me and for many cabaret people is there's no fourth wall. So a bit like if you're a stand-up, you are often, as a stand-up, almost always, just talking directly to the people in the room like you're having a conversation. And that's what cabaret is. It's not a concert. It's not just, somebody standing up and singing a bunch of songs without that same kind of give and take. You're having a conversation. And once that fourth wall goes up, a lot of cabarets, I think, turn into a music theatre performance, and that's a different thing. So, music theatre's the other category in the Green Room Awards that I forgot. Sorry, everybody from music theatre.
All of these nominations, I'm forgetting them all.
I know, it's so hard. but that's a really big thing. If it feels like you've got that fourth wall that we like to call in theatre, you know, that we're pretending the audience isn't there, then that feels like it's not really cabaret anymore.
So could I put to you that being successful in cabaret is potentially harder because you have to do, you know, there's the comedy, there's the music, there are all these things you have to do well.
I think it's got two sides to it. I think a lot of people fall into whatever, as I did, into whatever cabaret is. Because they can do a number of things. So I wanted to be a musician, and then I trained as an actor, and then I didn't get any work as an actor. And then I kind of had a lot of friends who were doing comedy. I've been around the scene for 20 years. And so
since you were a baby?
Since I was an infant in my mother's arms. And so I think a lot of those things kind of can come together. So many people who are doing it have got multiple skills. A bit like with burlesque, a lot of the great burlesque people who are working at the moment come from a dance background, and then they're or dance and acting and this or that or the other, and they pull it together into this genre.
Yeah.
Cabaret is very similar. I know people who've been opera singers, actors, comedians, musicians.
Now I want to throw someone at you.
Oh.
David Bowie.
Yeah.
Tell me about Bowie.
Why? Everyone knows everything about Bowie, don't they?
No, you are. Is this in the show? You're a huge Bowie fan.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So and what is the like? Because I'll tell you a little bit about myself.
Sure.
I once accidentally lied to someone I was trying to impress.
I thought you say I once accidentally met David Bowie and I was going to throw up.
I met David Bowie. He said, "Hey, I'm David." I shook his hand and said, "Yeah, whatever." I didn't even know who he was. That's not true. Someone I was trying to impress, and they said, "I love David Bowie," and I said, "I love everything that I know about David Bowie," which at that time was Labyrinth.
That's it.
That's it. So how, like, what is the David Bowie? Where do you start?
Labyrinth isn't a bad place to start, like, considering, especially a lot of people who. Well, I was 86, I think. So
Yeah,
I was a kid when I saw it, so it's very dear to me. And of course, you know, you can't go past Henson. It's Jim Henson. You know,
Yeah,
it's amazing. Frank Oz and Jim Henson and all those guys. And
I reckon they knew what they were doing.
And what's his name? Muick, the sculptor, was apparently a very young man who was working on Labyrinth at the time. So the team was extraordinary.
Yeah.
But Bowie, depends. Yeah, my second eldest sister was a massive Bowie fan when I was growing up, but she was 1983 Serious Moonlight tour, kind of the peroxide hair when he really exploded. Whereas my eldest brother was more Ziggy Stardust kind of Bowie.
Yeah, well, what's your Bowie? What's your era?
Oh,
is it Labyrinth Bowie?
I can't pick.
You can't choose.
No, I really, genuinely, I grew up listening to Ziggy Stardust, and so it wasn't just about that film for me. It was that, and Scary Monsters was another really big album for me. I'm very fond of the Berlin years as well. But then,
this is all I don't understand.
Oh well,
are these titles?
The last album was great as well, and Reality was fantastic, and Heathen's really good. And I'm sorry, it's because you started this.
No, I did. No, well, that's I'm because I'd love to get into Bowie at some stage. Because the other thing that comes to mind, and I'm throwing everything at you. I'm throwing the movie Cabaret with Liza Minnelli. I'm throwing Flight of the Conchords, you know, that little bit that they have about the different era Bowies that come in.
Yes.
And for a lot of people, that's all they know about David Bowie.
Well, I think he's just, I think one of the reasons so many people have a real love for him is that, like Cabaret, he's a cherry picker. He steals smart. He's a magpie. He picks the best things from not just his genre. So when you get stuck trying to write something, I think a really good thing to do is to stop absorbing yourself in the discipline. So if you're trying to write a joke for something and you're just watching endless stand-up, go to something else. You're trying to write a song and you're stuck, go watch a film or read a book that will just take your brain kind of out of that discipline and something about
sawdust shaker.
Yeah, and I think that cherry picking and that magpieing of art, design, books, literature, and as well as other people's music, as well as theatre, and he's obviously taken a lot of influence from a lot of people. and a lot of performance artists as well. And he's picked very cleverly. And cabaret is very like that. You kind of get to find things from all over the art world. And you should keep your brain like a horizon. So I don't have to go here, I can go over here to get my inspiration. You don't have to get stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Because like some people they focus so much on that one thing and they don't even think, for example, Frank, being a guitarist, if you get stuck with the same chord structures all the time, you might jump on a piano because it makes you look at your hands differently.
Yeah.
And I'm a terrible, terrible pianist. I'm an average guitarist. But when I get onto a keyboard, I think of chord structures I wouldn't have thought of. And you can do that with art forms.
Now, is this making sense to you?
Yeah, also if you use different sounds on the same instrument, that can also help.
Yeah, or use the instrument a different way.
Yeah.
I did a live recording and I was on an acoustic guitar and my drummer for this one song that I did on my own came around the front and percussed, like hit. She was on her knees hitting the body of the guitar in a percussive way while I was playing it and singing at the same time. And we had the guitar mic'd up, so we were just trying to find really bizarre ways of getting that extra element.
My gosh.
Well, people use bows on guitars.
Yeah, Jimmy from Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Page.
Led Zeppelin. I got to write this down.
It's L-E-D.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would they spell it that way? Now, do you have to rush off, or can we rope you into maybe playing a little game with us?
I like games.
Yeah?
I'm not necessarily always good at them. I'm really good at Monopoly, but it's probably not that game.
It's possibly not Monopoly. And we're going to play a little bit of good news, bad news. Now, if you've never played good news, bad news before, and we've got Geraldine at the desk. My God, Geraldine, you look fantastic behind that desk.
And look at home.
Have you considered doing one of these? We should get you on.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Now, good news, bad news. We have blue cards, which are good news. So if we pull that around for our newsreader Geraldine to read, she's going to have to invent a news story that somehow involves the good news that is Frank. That's good news, Frank. However, if it's a red card, it's bad news, and it's bad news, Frank. Bad Frank.
Oh,
bad
sorry.
on you. So even if it's a good thing, but it's on a red card, that means it's bad news. Are you ready to start your news report, Geraldine?
I'm ready.
All right. And go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to About Tonight, Good News, Bad News. First up this evening, the United Nations have announced that they're going to be holding a massive party in Switzerland or wherever the hell they're from. The party is going to involve all sorts of nations uniting together to have a fantastically huge fire that may break out at some point. Their fear of fire is so great that the enjoyment of the party is going to be destroyed by the fact that one of the nations is now being represented by a tiger. The quality of the tiger is unknown, however, it could well be an endangered species, and it is definitely dangerous and likes to eat continental representatives who have recently been involved in a bank heist. These United Nations representatives who are being chased by said recent United Nations members tiger representative have been in this bank heist for several hours now. The police are terrified that David Bowie may be about to show up and kill everyone using only his 1973 era platform heels. This is About Tonight. Good news, bad news, and stay safe out there. Look out for flaming tigers.
That's fantastic.
Is it my turn?
Now you do have a chance now to pay me back.
I do.
So let's go.
I've got my cards. Hang on. Completely
This is gonna be
seamless
tough to
segue.
You better be good.
All right. Am I in the correct position? Yeah. All right. When you are ready.
All right, well, we have some fantastic news coming up for you tonight on About Tonight News, where it has been revealed that an alpaca farm has just been opened in the Melbourne suburb of Werribee, which is fantastic news for all those homeless alpacas. And we can only hope that the alpacas in general are able to adjust to their new control briefs, which is unfortunately or fortunately I should say, it's a blue card, fortunately a safety measure that they do implement on the alpaca farm. Citizen Kane has been re-reviewed by a bunch of critics who are now reassessing its cult status, and they think it's bad now. So everybody adjust your filmographies accordingly. Certainly, if you live in the terrible, terrible country of Peru, Peru, you know, I feel bad putting it down as much as I apparently have to, but there was something that went wrong there. It was scabies. It was scabies, and it wasn't until it wasn't until they managed to get the scabies, like a good version of the scabies going, that Peru became good again. Good news, bad news. Thank you very much, Miss Geraldine Quinn. Now we have Frank.
Yeah, we have a winner.
We have a winner?
It's not you. It's Geraldine.
Yes!
Hold on.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I can give you some pointers later on if you want.
It's all scrunched up. No. The absolute rightful winner. And if you want to catch Geraldine, you can do so most immediately. Sunday, the 12th of April, at 7 p.m. in the Toffin Town. Now, this is you, Geraldine, and there's a whole bunch of other comedians as well. Mm-hmm. And this is for the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre.
Yes, it's raising money for the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre, and there'll be a load of musicians and a load of comedians as well.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the show tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me come over and we'll be right back.
Stop showing off.
Welcome back. About tonight, we're wrapping up the show. I tell you what, Frank, Geraldine Quinn, wasn't she brilliant?
Brilliant, yeah.
She was just so kind and lovely and giving. And for the rest of the show, of course, we have to wrap up. We have to talk to Mr. Paul Culliver, who, if you're just tuning in, now Paul has been checking out some of Melbourne's choice coffee spots. Even though it is in the middle of the night, he's doing it. He's a soldier. He's soldiering it on. Are you there, Paul?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where have you ended up, Paul? Is that St Kilda?
Yeah. All right. We are. Can you feel that, Anthony? Can you feel that?
I can't feel that. Can you feel that, Frank?
No, I don't know what he's talking about.
No, neither of us can feel that.
So we are at we're at Cafe Remors, where we serve our. Oh, there it is again.
Yeah, still can't feel it, Paul.
Cafe Remors, where we serve our coffee strong enough to burn out the taste of whatever it is you were doing the night before.
That sounds fantastic, Paul. Have you had a taste?
8 out of 10.
All right. Paul, we're just about done with the show here. I think it's time for you to go home.
No, Anthony. I can't go home now. Do you know how many coffees you had me drink?
Also, are you going to be safe to make your own way home? Because I think we're about to lose to the crew.
Yeah, I don't know. Go home? But we just got started. It's got to be somewhere. It's got to be somewhere we can go. Where do we go? Where do we go?
I don't know. Lively over there.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think Paul's made a friend.
Yeah.
Well, is he? No, he's gone. I think we've lost Paul. Yeah, we've lost Paul. Do we know them? Are they with the show?
I'm not sure.
Mr. Paul Culliver, he's got his own comedy show coming up for the Melbourne Comedy Festival. He's on podcasts, Mammoth Audio, search for that on iTunes. What a fantastic job he's done tonight in helping us out. Drinking all that coffee. I certainly couldn't have done that.
No, me neither. I'm allergic to coffee.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That must be terrible. This is water. That's fine.
Okay.
Next week, Frank, we're not going to be here anymore. Do you know who is?
No, I'm not sure.
Very exciting. Let's reveal behind the curtain.
It's Lewis from Lessons with Lewis. I was expecting the music, but you can play it now. You can play it now. Okay, that sounds good. That's great. Lewis from Lessons with Lewis, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. I don't know your names. What's your name?
I'm Anthony. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Frank.
And Frank, it's a pleasure. Don't touch me again. That's okay. We've only done it once. I've worn red today. I'm just trialing bits and pieces of clothing for my ultimate bonanza of talking behind the desk.
You've got 2 ties on there.
I've got 2 ties. I'm just trying to work out whether it's too much, because sometimes you can have too many ties.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe the bow tie might be too much, or the tie. I also saw that you had nice red shoes there, so if I could borrow those, that would be great.
Yeah,
you can take them off now. You can ask me questions about next week's show while I just start bumping in, because you can never bump in too early, or else you go over with shoots and people get upset because they don't have lunch, and then when they don't eat, they get tired. And when
Lewis, I see what you're doing.
Floor manager right there.
No,
I've got my cat mug right there. If we could get the floor manager to get some water, that would be great. There's just a cooler outside. I've done Channel 31 shows before, so you can do that right there. Thank you so much.
Doesn't matter. The cat's cute, Frank, for cry out loud. No, Lewis, I see what you're doing. This is all good.
But it doesn't work. I'll be hosting next. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is all good, but I think maybe like a week too early.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
We haven't even finished the show yet, have we?
Go with the red, although there's too much red. I think.
You know what? Why am I fighting this? We need some more tinsel. Let's
all
go and get
tinsel. Do you think it's too much red? I see you've got
let me get some of my stuff off
red. It's all over. It's like I'm wearing a red carpet. So what's in the news?
My gosh, it's been a jam-packed show, hasn't it?
What?
I hope I didn't need any of those. I just want to thank, there are so many people I want to thank. I want to thank Gabriel Gate, incredible man. Geraldine Quinn, incredible woman. Mr. Frank McKenna, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have you had a good time? Have you had fun?
It's been good.
Now, behind the scenes, we have an incredible crew, and I just want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank our award-winning producer,
is he still talking?
Felicia. Shane Dunlop, who's the man behind the whole thing, without whom this wouldn't be possible. This would not be possible.
I'll move the phone as well.
That's all right. Keep talking.
Guess I'm a bit sad now.
Oh, why's that?
Well, you know, it's the end of the show, and they might not let me host another Channel 31 thing ever again. I mean, in its current form, you know, the whole terrestrial thing and everything. And, you know, I've never sung on a Channel 31 show before, Frank. I've never sung a song. Oh. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Good night.
No, I think the floor manager's indicating that we still have 30 seconds left.
We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. As long as a man has the chance to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. Deep in my heart, there's a burning question. But still I know that the answer's gonna come somehow. Out there in the dark, there's a beckoning candle. And while I can stand, while I can walk, while I can think, while I can talk, while I can dream, please let my dream come true. Oh, 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 oh.
right now. Let it all come true right now. Don't change that channel.